Nearly 20 years ago, humble farmer turned missionary Larry Hills had an idea that grew larger than he ever imagined. After serving in the Korean War, Hills made a fortune farming in Michigan, but sought something more meaningful.
But always remembering these people that I'd seen starving. And I'm a Christian, I'm a pacifist, and it spoke to my heart. Here I am producing all this for all these overfed Americans that don't really appreciate it anyway, and there's all the rest of the world that's hungry. So we finally sold our farm, and went to Africa.
Hills moved his wife Laura and their 5 children to Zambia in the Congo in the 1960s, where he met people who needed his help more than perhaps anyone else.
We were in our village for, maybe 6 months or so. We saw 2 people crawling on the ground. So I thought, well, we're here to help the least of these, and I can't think of anybody any leaster than that. So we better do something.
After seeing victims of polio and landmines crawling on the ground with no use of their lower bodies, Hills conjured a prototype of a wheelchair that could give them the opportunity to walk. In 1996, Hills and his development team finished the first prototype of the Personal Energy Transportation Cart, also known as the PET. The prototype expanded into a hand-cranked cart with 3 large durable tires for the most rugged terrain. By 1997, a team of volunteers were producing PETs in a small garage in the city of Penny Farms, about 35 miles from St. Augustine. The project grew into PET International with 24 production facilities nationwide. Home base for Hills and his beloved pets is Penny Farms Retirement Community, with some of the project's most unlikely volunteers.
Yeah, well, the PET project has 2 goals, equally important. One is to supply mobility to the least of these that need it. The other is to supply meaningful work for those that make them. They're both equally important.
Penny Farms Retirement Community focuses on Christian values and volunteer service. When Hills made it his home in 2001, the PET project found a home as well. With the variety of talents needed to make pets, the workshop has a place for everyone. The volunteers at Penny Farms, whom also include locals outside the retirement community, range from age 5 to 103. Sid Roy has a similar story to his good friend Hills. Born and raised on an Iowa farm, Roy also sought ways to give back. He became a missionary in South America in 1965, and now the 88-year-old has found another way to give back.
But I feel as young as I was when I was 60. I think partly because we have such a wonderful project here that inspires me, and I love to do it.
The around 100 PET volunteers have great pride in their work, and they know it makes a difference.
The Lord said, Jesus said, I came not to be served, but to serve. And that means get off your rump and do it and get busy doing something that can be useful to other people.
The volunteers love to hear the success stories and each use their own special talents to keep the workshop and their minds running like a well-oiled machine.
This is a very good work. What I do is relatively minor, but it's got to be done. You know, so it all fits together, and really a nice project.
Here at Penny Farms Retirement Community, the PET project not only helps pet users, but volunteers themselves. Some volunteers have had lifelong careers in service, but their work is not finished. These chairs are shipped to over 100 countries, producing nearly 800 per year. The retirees at Penny Farms are hardly retired at all, upholding the community slogan of, "Why retire when you can rewire?"
My wife was worried because I was always a very active person. She said, what are we going to do? What's Sid going to do when we get to Penny Farms? And when we heard about the PET project, and I said, well, that's where I'm going to work. And I started working 3-4 days a week, you know, on the PET project. She thanked the good Lord. She said, now I don't have to worry because he's got something constructive to do.
Although Hill stepped down as director of the project in 2010, the 86-year-old still has childlike wonder when it comes to his work. He feels that he not only rehabilitates others, but he has rehabilitated himself along the way.
I don't know if you know the story about Jesus feeding the 5,000. The little boy had, 2 loaves and 5 fish, or vice versa. But then it never says any more about the little boy. But what do you think he thought about that? I bet he said, wow. And I'm that little boy. I look around now and I say, wow.
This is Taylor Bush for FCTV News Center.